Hey, it's your girl Go Queen with the Q Chat podcast. Thank you for tuning in to our latest episode. Before we get started, I want to give you some information on how you can grab some Q Chat merchandise. Go to www.goqueen.com and there you can purchase any Q Chat merchandise or any of my Go Love Yourself tees. So go ahead, take a look at the website and feel free to grab some merchandise today. There's something else I want to fill you guys in on. If you haven't heard, Anchor is the hottest and easiest way to make a podcast. It's the best price in the world, free. So go ahead and download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. And just remember, Anchor distributes your podcast to all streaming platforms. It's super simple. So go ahead and sit back and get ready to listen to the next episode of the Q Chat. But don't forget, go to www.goqueen.com and grab some merchandise. Thank you for tuning in and get ready to listen in. Go Queen! Okay, so we're recording a new episode of the Q Chat, and I have another New Orleans native, and this is Miss Erica Roberts from To The Max Records. So Erica has like a lot of things going on, some very positive things. She has books, she has a record label, she has a YouTube channel. So this episode, I just wanted to center on just sisters supporting sisters. So I want to give Erica a chance to introduce herself first. How are you doing today, Erica?
I'm good. Thanks for having me a part of the chat today. It's been I'm so honored to support one of each other, our sisterhood, because we need to support each other no matter what we have going on. But I would like to start off. I'm Erica Roberts. I'm the CEO of To The Max Records. I'm the book author of The Journey. I'm the podcast host of The Journey Back from Domestic Violence. I also have The Journey Love and Relationship. And I also have my new venture that I'm starting off. It's a movement. It's called hashtag Give a Sister a Hug. I have that movement going on. And I also have a YouTube page with hashtag Give a Sister a Hug. So I have a good bit going on.
Yes.
And I'm also a caretaker. I have my mother that I take care of. And I also have a full-time job. So I have a lot going on, which I kind of manage it all. But I don't know. I guess that's what makes me unique.
I feel you.
Yeah. And I'm a little crazy, all in the mix of all of that.
I hear you. So I want to start off. Give me your background first. I know. So what started first? Did the record label start first?
Yes. So I started off. I actually had my ex-boyfriend. He was actually a record artist. He was an artist, and he also had his record label. And I started helping him manage his own record label. So he was like, you need to branch off and do your own thing, So I was like, it's not that you rarely hear too many females that have their own record label. So I was like, okay, cool. A lot of stuff as far as me learning about the record industry was I did a lot of research myself. And once into researching everything and going through just checking, I came across which my friend Yvonne, which she actually have her own record label. And now to this day, you'll hear we are business partners. So we started off with the record label. I actually had an artist that was signed to my label, and things just didn't go well because the artist wasn't living up to his expectation, what he needed to do. So I kind of like just veered off and just went on to helping my boyfriend with his stuff. So I kind of got him to where he needed to be. So I just kind of, like I said, and as I said before, I have a full-time job, which I started more focusing on my full-time job. I kind of left the record label alone a little while, but Yvonne had always been like, come on, Erica, let's get this, let's do this. And I'm like, I don't want to do this no more. I don't want to do, music anymore because it just kind of discouraged me. And I could say that because it really did discourage me for this being a female in an industry because it's just so much you have to go through. So I just kind of focus on my full-time job and being, the
Did you
housewife. And go
do
ahead.
you feel like, as a female that was breaking into the music industry, did you feel like you dealt with a lot of sexism? Like, did people treat you differently because you were a woman?
Yeah, I think that's what I dealt with the artist,
Mm.
because it was a lot of things that he, kind of went backwards and forward with me. It was never he believed, because I guess because I was a female, but I always had my boyfriend. He always backed me up no matter
Mhm.
what. But so I was like, I'm just not gonna do this. I don't want to do this. Like I was at a point where I was working my full-time job, which I've been on my job 14 years. So I'm
Mhm.
like,
Oh wow.
I want to find my own little niche. I want to find Erica, like, Erica, 14 years at the convention center as a building maintenance coordinator, but I want
Mhm.
to find my niche on the outside. So fast forward, me and my ex, we broke up,
Mhm.
and we went off, and Yvonne, she just kept on. She was like, Erica, we need to find something. We need to find something to do. Like, I got to get you back into that groove, because I really was moving. So in 2018, December 2018, we finally came up with the, and actually I still have a radio. I actually have a Tudor Max radio, um, a radio station.
Okay.
And on Tudor Max radio station is where I give indie artists, which independent artists that don't have, get any promotion or anything. And I provide that for them. That's like a platform that they can promote their music on. So
That's
that's why
nice.
I started off with that. So she was like, we just easing back into the music industry. And when I found myself back, I'm back doing music again. Yvonne got me back into doing music, which, and one thing about Yvonne, she have always motivated me, like, you can do this, Erica. Don't give up. The radio station wasn't bad because I wasn't hands on. She was like,
Mhm.
we're gonna do this as a partnership. That's where our partnership developed at, with the Tuna Max radio station. So time went on with that. So I started writing my book. So I kind of branched off as I'm working on a radio station, and we are building our business partner. I started working on my book, which is The Journey.
Okay,
And
and The Journey's your very first book, right?
that's my very first book. That's my
Okay.
first baby. That's my first baby, my first love.
Aw.
And at first, the journey was like, I was like, I don't know how much I wanted to talk about, because the journey is about Erica, her life. So I'm
Mhm.
like, I want the journey to be a book where I may have had all these setbacks, but I want somebody to learn from what I went through. So I'll just give you a bit of the journey. Started off. I was at the age of 6 months. I was 6 months old when I was diagnosed with asthma. I was considered a chronic asthma patient. My mom and my dad would take me to the hospital. It'll be days we will, the doctor would treat me. And by the time we get to the front of the hospital to leave out, my mom had to turn me back around because I was having an asthma attack. I had asthma really bad. And it
Mhm.
was it was times to where I was hardly in school, and it was so bad. I had asthma, like I was in and out of school.
Mhm.
And in the fifth grade, I couldn't read.
Mhm.
So it was that wanted me to. At first, I never talked about me not being able to read, and
Mhm.
I was like, well, I wanna tell people this story, because I just never know who's out there now struggling with that reading problem. And
Mhm.
actually, I wrote the book, and then my church member, her little granddaughter was in the fifth grade and couldn't read. So
Oh wow.
she showed her my book, and she was like, Erica couldn't read at fifth and the fourth grade, and she wrote a book, and she was like, no, she didn't. When you can't read, you're a dummy. I was like, that's not true.
Aw.
And that's the stigma that she had. But when I was
Mhm.
coming up, my mama had me. I was in a special ed class that helped me to read. And what happened was, it wasn't that I couldn't read. I just wasn't comprehending
Right.
because the lack of oxygen to my brain. So I was kind of slow on picking up things. Yeah, I was in special ed,
Mhm.
and which it didn't really hold me back. I just really never talked about it, even in school. You know, I was going to a tutor. I had a tutor all the way up until my 12th grade year in school. And it was just like, I don't know, it was just like something just clicked, you know, it was like a click, a bell or something just clicked like, Erica, you got to get this together. And my mama always would be like, my mama, and if you talk to my mama, I will tell you like, my baby, I wouldn't have never thought my baby would be, you know, I never thought my baby would be doing these things. And even I went to college. I still in college. When I started my first year at Delgado, I still had a tutor then. And what I did was I graduated. I received my associates. I went on, I had a full-time job, and I received my bachelor's. And in the mix of receiving my bachelor's, I had just had a full-time job. I just got a full-time job after Katrina, and I was going to school online, and my house caught a fire, and my mama stopped walking.
Oh,
So
wow.
yes, and living in a hotel, and the hotel manager actually will allow me to use her computer just so that I can finish. And I actually graduated living in a hotel, didn't have anywhere to live because my house caught a fire. I actually graduated with my bachelor's. I was achieving things, and I was like, "That's my baby!" Like, you know, she wasn't really expecting that. And amidst all that, you know, I still didn't have any kids. I just kept on because I always wanted to work to better myself. I just didn't want to stop because I already had a couple of strikes against me that, you know, people always looked at me different because I couldn't read and I couldn't do certain things. So I was always like, I'm gonna prove to you that I can do this. And I
Right.
actually, before I was working at the convention center, I had to got married. Um, right before I got my master's because actually I graduated with my master's before the age of 31. And that was like a big accomplishment. I was like, okay, well, I did this already. I done graduated. I have my master's. And I mean, I did it. And right after my father passed away. So it was like, you know, I was like, okay, I done achieved this. I got my house. I'm back in my house. My mama was up and running because she had surgery in between me doing all of this and trying to get it together. My dad died in 2010. So I'm like, dang, you know, I'm back at another hurdle. You know, I have had hurdles after hurdle, but I have always overcome them. You know, my daddy passed away. That kind of set me back because I went from a child that didn't have no responsibilities to a lot of responsibility. Because who was going to take care of my mom? Because my brother was actually in jail. So I had to pick up the ball because I didn't want my mama to go in no nursing home or the state take my mama. So I had a full-time job taking care of my mama. I did my daddy's funeral, made sure everything was straight, and we was actually got to a point where me and my mama had to level off. Everything, life is good. And I got back into my relationship with my boyfriend. I was divorced 180 days after, but I was back in another relationship. So everything, life was going good, and my mama started getting ill. Like my mama went into the hospital, and we didn't know what was going on. My mama would have these spasms all over her body. She couldn't breathe. And I mean, when I say it looked like every month my mom was in the hospital, she was coming home with PIC lines. But I never gave up on myself. I kept on. Okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna get through this. You know, I still had my job. Like I said, I've been on my job 14 years, and my job have been awesome, backing me up as far as taking care of my mom. You know, in the mix of all that, you know, we finally got my mama to a point where we found out my mama had something called lymphedema. And you will hear people with cancer have lymphedema in their arms, but my mama actually have the rare in her legs. So we was able to get my mama on track. So I had been in a relationship for 5 years with this guy. So this New Year's, we had this argument. Like, bam, he slammed me against the door. So, you know, he choked me. You know, I was like, wait a minute, hold on. This is not supposed to be happening to me, you know. And that's what I thought. Like, my mama, I never seen my mama and my daddy doing that because my mama and daddy been together 30 years. And my uncle and auntie been together 50 years. But after that, you know, we got out of the relationship. We tried to work things out, but one day we try to work things out after the domestic violence situation. And one day I went to work and he left. Didn't tell me nothing. He just packed his shit up and he was like, "I'm out of here." And you deal with these things. So I'm like, "Okay, Erica, you got to get this together because you done been through all this. You can't let none that stop you." So I started therapy, which I went to therapist just to try to get over the situation with my dad, just to try to manage and not get over it, because that's my dad. I'm always love my dad, but just to manage that, I know I have to take care of my family. But going through that relationship and dealing with abandonment, that's something that you have to deal with, because I couldn't take that to my next relationship. So I had to deal with it and find my way through it all. And I went to therapy. As of now, I'm single. I'm kind of doing my own thing, but the journey is that's all in my book. And I talk about all that because I wanted to show people, no matter what you go through in life, you never give up on yourself, because I could have easily gave up on myself a long time ago when I couldn't read. Like I could have said, "That's the end. I'm not doing this. I'm just gonna have all these kids and I'm just not gonna care." But I got up and I said, "I'm not gonna give up." So the whole thing for the journey, that I wanted people to know that never give up on yourself, no matter what it is, no matter how much you go through. We all go through stuff in life, but we have to just keep going. And it's not always easy. And I mean, every time I may have got into these situations, but I never gave up on myself. And today, I'm just constantly going. I'm still taking care of my mom. The journey was one thing that I put out, and I really enjoyed the feedback that people gave me. I was able to do things with the journey. And that's how I came with the Journey Love and Relationship. And the Journey Love and Relationship podcast is basically, we talk about relationship. And right now on the journey of love and relationship, I've been doing shows with, talk about Corona. That's something that we're dealing with right now. So I've been doing that. And then I had the journey back from domestic violence, because I went through that. It may have not been big as some people's situation, but that's a part of me. So that's something that I wanted to embrace, and even make a little TV show out of it too. So where I get people that have went through certain domestic violence share their story, even different organizations. So that's my main thing of just doing right now. And with my new stuff with hashtag give a sister a hug. And I came up with that because I know we all at home right now, and we got this pandemic going on, and some of us females, we wear a lot of hats we wear a lot of hats in our lives, and we have so much going on. And I wanted to have this atmosphere where I get a group of girls and we talk about things, in which I have about 3 or 4 shows out there now on YouTube where we get on there, we talk about everything, no matter what it is, relationship. We just talk about it just to try to get our minds off of this whole Corona COVID-19 kind of situation, and just focus on us. Basically it's just girls that we may not can't physically give each other a hug, but we can be there to support. We still have we have women
send positive energy.
Right. And we have a lot of women that's in a domestic violence situation right now, which that's high because they're in with their abuser. So, just give this atmosphere where they can get away just for a moment, if it's nothing but an hour or two, just to get away from it, because we need that time to get rid of some of that and not think about it. Because if you let this whole Corona stuff, it will take over you. And for me, myself, I just don't watch TV no more. I just don't even watch it because it's just so much.
It's negative.
Right. And when you watching it, it's just so much to where you just don't know what to go. And it's just like, all right. And I try not to, I want positive vibes. And don't get me wrong, by no means, I have days when I'm down, I have those days. And those days sometimes, I'm tired, I want to just give up because there's just so much going on. But I have to
Right.
pick myself up because I don't want to have that negative energy, but just and that pity party with myself. Because we can sometimes, as females, we can have those pity parties because there's just so much we have to deal with and go through and try to make sure our families are good, make sure the people around us are good. It's just so many things that we have to deal with. So I have to pick myself up. And, I might have a few people call me just to motivate me to keep going. And I want to be that person to motivate the next female. Like, we got to get this, sister. We got this. We going to make it through this.
Right.
It may be days we gonna have our down days, but hey, we gonna get through this. And that's where my book come in. My next book that I'm working on now is actually in the editing stage right now. It's called Sister, I Got Your Back. It's about two young girls. One girl, she moved from New York to New Orleans, and she met this girl, and they became friends.
So
And
is this a fiction book?
yeah, it's not a real. It was just came up with
Oh,
a off
gotcha.
the top of my head.
Okay.
Yes, and
Okay.
it's just two girls, and she moved from New York, and she met a friend, and she was in a domestic violence situation, but she had that sister to tell her, "I got your back," no matter what it
Mm,
is, and we need that. We need that sister because there's some girls who gone through situations that need that sister to say, "I got you," or just to give you that hug to let you know, "I got you," no matter what happens. And she went through it, and she actually passed away. The guy actually, got time, and she, she
mm-hmm.
was like, and she was like, "I told you, sister, I got you no matter what." So that was my theory, just to show that we need that sister. We need that one good friend that say, "I got you no matter what's going on." So that's why everything that I do kind of circles off of my book and what I do, because we need that one girl to say, "Hey, I got you." And we need
Right.
that as females. We have to come together and have one another back, no matter what we're going through.
And I feel like we don't have that a lot. I feel like a lot of times women in general, when we should be supporting each other, it's like, don't get me wrong, I feel like a lot of us, if we search enough, like we will have like our own personal circles. But I feel like in general, it's like it just seems like it's hard to just get support from women sometimes because it feels like everything's a competition or you can't talk to a person without feeling like you can't trust
Right,
them, so it is important to have more supportive things. That's why I feel like, when women, like once we find that tribe of supportive
right.
people, we get very territorial because
We don't
unfortunately
have it.
it's hard connecting, right? And I just feel like it gets to be hard sometimes and it really shouldn't be
It
that way.
shouldn't.
What motivated you? Like I know like you mentioned just, from your
Hmm.
childhood and the things that you had to deal with, just from your struggles with illiteracy, things of that nature, but you still overcame it. So what do you feel was your motivation? And also did you have like role models that really, just pushed you to keep moving forward? I know obviously your
Yeah.
mother made a huge difference in your life, but did you have like any other just outside people? Because, mama's gonna be mama. Did you have like other people that just saw something in you that just motivated you to keep
I don't know.
going?
I know it was always my mama and
Mm-hmm.
my daddy and my auntie. My auntie Vicky was like, God rest her soul. My auntie like,
Mm-hmm.
look, you can do this. Hell with anybody else say, but
Mm.
my mom always told me that I can do anything. Like no matter what you do, my mama have always been supportive. And don't get me wrong, we have our little arguments as mama daughter. But she
Right.
always like my mama and my auntie and my daddy. And I'm so glad that I come from a household with both parents because my daddy was
Right.
always there. You know, I talk a lot about girls always need their daddies because my daddy always gave me a hug and a kiss. Like we did things together more than me and my mama. Me and my daddy, we would gang up on my mamas. So I had that relationship with my daddy, so whereas I wasn't always, somebody would tell me I'm cute. I didn't smile about it because I
Mm-hmm.
heard that from my daddy all the time. And my mama was always supportive. So I think it was more my daddy my mom and my auntie was always there to have my back, no matter what, no matter what the situation that I had going on. And it was like a big hurt. It was a big thing when I lost my auntie, because she took care of all of us. She took care of everybody.
Right.
But my mom have always been my support, even though I get on her nerve a lot, because I'm very bossy. I'm that person, like, this is what we got to do and this is what's going to happen. So
Right,
I'm
right.
very bossy, but supporting, that was my support team. And I wasn't the type of girl to really like, and this goes back to what you were saying about females having each other back. I'm the type of person, I really never had too many girlfriends, because I was always on that thing, it was always like the whole trust thing, as far as you being my friend, whether you my friend for good or you just my friend for a reason. So it was always, for me, as having girlfriends, been a whole trust thing, because my best friend is a guy. We went from
Mm-hmm.
elementary school all the way to high school, and now we still talk. So I never really had that
Wow.
girlfriend, because I was always like, you seen girls, supposed to be friends, but they fighting one another. And I was
Right,
like, I
right.
don't want that. Even now, I'm older now, I'm very territorial about even letting girls in my circle, because I'm scared of how you will treat me. And like you said, you supposed to have that trust, and we supposed to be supporting, but you get to the point where some people like, are you supporting me because you need what I have? Or you supporting me for
Mm-hmm.
because you are a real friend? And right,
Right.
and we shouldn't have that. We should be supporting, because at the end of the day, you're a podcast host and I'm a podcast host, but we talk about different things. But why we should come together no matter what? We still have, it's
Right.
still enough of talk and enough of topics for us to make this happen. So it shouldn't be
Mm-hmm.
that
Right.
whole competition thing with us females. And that's what I have been burnt like that just recently. A girl,
Mm-hmm.
you know, um, I was doing this thing of letting females, just making this new friend. And she only, like, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, if you ask me, you need something from me and you need help, I'm willing to help you, because somebody asked me, help me to get to where I'm
Right.
at. And it was like she
Mm-hmm.
befriended me to be my friend. And when she got what she needed from me, like, she deleted me, she blocked me from her Instagram. Like,
Wow.
she did the most. And I was like, well, damn, sis, you ain't have to do that, because it really
Right.
wasn't that serious. But now, as I'm older, me and Yvonne, we are business partners and we are friends. And the crazy part is, we live in two different states. She live in
Mm-hmm.
Texas and I live in New Orleans here. So our friendship is have grown a lot. Like, come to find out, our mama's birthday is the same day. Like, we could get on
Mm-hmm.
the phone and we have conversations all the time. And now, since Corona hit, we both home, so now we get to talk more. But we work well as business partners. Like, I'm that partner that like to do things, and whereas she's the quiet partner and just like the be stutter, I'm that partner that, so we kind of balance each other out, but we make the job work.
Do you find that you have to like do certain things to make sure y'all separate, business from friendship so that like, because business sometimes you may have differences
Right.
or whatnot. Do you find that you have to have certain boundaries so that business doesn't affect the friendship and vice versa?
Right, I do. We do, but we have to agree
Mm-hmm.
to disagree, and that's how we work. We
Right.
agree to disagree, because actually our friendship was before we started business partner, but being business partner, but we agree to disagree, and we go to sleep and we think about it, and we come back the next day and we make it happen. And now it's just like, it's scary, because if she might email me something and I might say, oh yeah, I was thinking about this, and she was like, well, girl, I was thinking about that too. So it's kind of scary, because we kind of know what each other be thinking about when it comes down to, as far as us doing business move. And she have taught me a lot, and some things that I didn't know about the business I have learned from her. So we kind of help each other out and we just make it work. We do it and make it work. Now, some things she come up with theory I don't agree with, but I was like, okay, let's try that, because I'm a type of person. I want to try different things because I just never know what's gonna happen. So she took the journey, and the book The Journey, she took that and just launched it out there, and we got a production company to do a movie with The Journey, but everything had to come a halt with the virus pandemic happened. So it
Yeah.
was just like, I was like, what? We could do that? She was like, yeah, we could do that. We gonna do that. And I was like, okay, then well, we gonna do that. But
Right.
yeah, we have to set boundaries, but then you have to be like, it comes to the point where we agree to disagree and we make it happen.
And I know, like, I don't know if you watch the show Insecure, but for people that watch it, the main thing going on the show is showing how these two friends that have been friends for the longest, their friendship is pretty much disintegrating. Like, everything is going wrong in the friendship. So that's been like a big topic of debate now. People just saying, do they have friends like this who really truly aren't
Yeah.
supportive? Things like that. So what's your suggestion on just so that's been a huge debate on when should you leave a friendship and when should you keep it. So what are your suggestions on just basically salvaging a friendship, staying friends? Because I think a lot of times, especially when you get
Mm-hmm.
older, I think sometimes we underestimate how important it is to have a friend. Just like you mentioned, I mean, it is important to support each other as women. And I just feel like the older you get, like I was even telling my daughter, she's 16, and like she'll tell me little
Mm-hmm.
things about, some of the friends she's not friends with anymore. And I told her, I'm like, hell, at 43, I still see the same things
Exactly.
going on, unfortunately, with women in general. I just was telling her, to me personally, I feel like it doesn't change. That's why, like, when I do meet genuine people, sometimes I look at it like it's like a brand new toy. It's like, wow, like, is this chick
Right.
really real? Because I just feel like
Oh, what
sometimes,
she been
how it is. Like, you just meet
Yeah.
people, and unfortunately, you have to be like, oh God, I wonder if she's serious. I wonder if she's genuine, or I wonder if she just secretly jealous. It's like, it's just ridiculous, some of the stuff that you have
It
to think
is.
of
It's
as women.
crazy.
It just doesn't make
Mm-mm.
any sense. So, what are your suggestions on best, basically,
Friendship.
like, and I guess the best thing is, let's say new
Mm.
friends, right? How do you know, like, what's the guidelines, I guess, and just how can you feel like whether a person is being really genuine, if it's worth pursuing a friendship? Because I feel like people still make friends every single day,
Uh-huh. It
even as
does.
adults. Like, just meeting friends
Mm-hmm.
doesn't change, and that's something that you teach children, when they're in preschool, the importance of friendship,
Right.
so it's still important as adults. So just like, what are your thoughts on just adult friendships, salvaging friendships that you've had since you were young, and also making new friends? Is it possible for women to meet new friends and really garner a friendship? Because sometimes we think, oh, well, I've been friends with so and
All
so
these years.
since
Mm-hmm.
elementary school, right? And sometimes, just like the show with Insecure is showing, sometimes that kind of doesn't matter. So what's your thoughts? Do you think it's possible to, like, meet new genuine friends as you get older, or is that just something that, oh, if you didn't know them from high school or elementary school, it's not possible? Like, do you think it's possible to meet friends in adulthood, and it's, can be like really true
I think
friendships?
I mean me, I'm open to anything. I mean, I think as
Mm-hmm.
adults, we still can be friends. But for me,
Right.
as for this being a friend with a girl, it takes a lot. Like I really we really have to I have to talk. For me, it's like about talking. And all the time I
Right.
don't talk a lot. I just may
Mm-hmm.
sit back and look at how you move. Now, if you do something that I'm
Right.
like, my eyebrows start going up, I'm like, hold on. But
Right.
I think it's
Right.
about being open, being open
Mm-hmm.
minded to making a new friend. And I think it's about
Right.
just put you don't want to have that guard up too high, but just giving a little trust. I'm gonna give you enough of trust. I'm gonna give you enough of rope to hang yourself. But if you show me
Right.
something else, and I gotta cut you off. And for me,
Right.
it's like I'm kind of guarded about letting everybody in my little world, and especially
Mm-hmm.
other girls, because I don't want to have to be sitting down thinking about, well, damn, is she my friend for real? Like that
Right.
it's just, I don't know, that is, it's hard. I think you just have to be open to meeting. I think you just have to be open to meeting new people, because you just never
Right.
know. You just don't know. You just don't know these days, because you don't know. It's so many fake friends. You really don't know.
Right.
And I'm like when I do find somebody that's really large, I'm like, oh, I like you.
Right, but it's like, unfortunately, I get to the point where I'm kind of shocked. I'm like, oh wow, because I mean, I think we all go through highs and lows just with meeting people in general. And I'm also like you, like I have like a lot of male
Right.
platonic friends. Like I have like a ton of like just guys that I'm just 100% cool with, 100% platonic, and I feel like I can
Right.
talk to them about anything.
Right. And that turns like
Um,
my best friend. Me and Sam went from high school. We went from elementary school all the way to high school. Our mamas played bingo together. Our mom, like, it was easy. We just became friends, and we still friends to this day. He'll call me, and
right,
we won't talk every day, but he always, he'll call me and be like, congratulations, I see you making that move. I'm happy for you. Even when he come to the city, because he live in Atlanta. And we talk, and he was like, girl, you ain't found the girlfriend yet? Nope. Like, no. Like,
right,
I just, sometimes it's like, you get pooped out. And that's just the
right.
whole honesty about it. When you go through people and you just don't find that's like, okay, whatever. I'm not doing this no more.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, you get jaded. You really get jaded because sometimes there's people out there in the world, they have a motive with
right, and
everything.
why?
It's like everything they do has a motive, it has an underlying cause. And I also feel like there's a meme floating around too saying, which I need to find it in my phone. It's basically saying like if you have like a given spirit, just to be cautious because it attracts
Right,
the
it
wrong
does.
people and it can drain you. Oh, I got it right here. It says you attract damaged people when you have a healing spirit. Be careful with that because darkness is drawn to your light and everybody don't want the healing. And I know me personally, I'm that type of person. I feel like if you're my friend, you're my friend. I'm a ride or die. But unfortunately, some people they're not
Nope.
gonna ride with you. Like they're not gonna even go to the bus stop,
They ain't gonna to the
and
corner for
it
you.
drains you.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So like when you come across those type of people, I know me personally, it
It
drains
does.
you, and it just gets to the point where it's just like, because even like I know people in my family, they have like this saying like, never met a stranger. And I'm like the same way. I'm the type of person, if you start talking to me in like the waiting room, by the time you done, you probably know like my entire life. Cause like I don't, because I just am, I'm welcoming to people in general, but it just, I think it hurts extra when you do
Right,
have
it
that type of
does, and
spirit that
especially
attracts to
especially
people.
that whole niceness and that whole loyalty thing. And sometimes you have to find a way to just kind of give people just a little of you and not so much, because
Mm-hmm.
when people know a whole
Right.
lot about you, then they start plotting, and then it becomes this whole thing. You go to thinking and like, damn, is she for real? Like. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I mean, I guess it's just who we are. Like, it's just,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's just hard. It's kind of hard. And I guess I guess you got to weigh it on, base it out on a situation, because like that girl, like that person I was telling you about, just talking about, she made me feel comfortable, like, oh yeah, we could do this and we could do that. And I'm like, okay, then, and we would talk, and then that little situation happened, and then I'm back in my shell to where I don't want to talk to no more. I don't want to meet no more friends. And it just like,
Right. And
yeah,
that's what
it,
it
it
does.
really, it takes a lot out you. But I mean, long-term friendships, I don't know. That's kind of hard, and especially when you been with somebody, I guess, a long time, and you really start
Mm-hmm.
finding out their true colors of that they're not who
Right.
you thought they was for 13 years. Because some people, it
It
does,
hurts.
and it's kind of hurt. It's just like a relationship. When you've been in a relationship for
It
13
is.
years, it's kind of hard to give. It's kind of hard to kind of disconnect yourself from that person, and it takes a while. But I mean, as far as friendships, I mean, I often question: do you really have people that want to have real, genuine friendships? That's a
Right,
question that I
right.
often ask. Do you really do? Are there really women out here that really having a genuine want to have a genuine friendship with you, or everything is just
Hmm.
everything is
Are they trying to suck something
right?
out
And
of
I
you?
mean, for me, I'm like this. I'm like this. If I have knowledge and I have something that I can help you with, I'm gonna help you out. But don't be so sneaky about it. So the question
Right.
is, the bigger question is about friendship, and especially with other females. Do you really have genuine females out there that genuinely want to be a friend?
I just had this conversation with a guy,
Right,
of course, like I said, because I just seem like I could talk on a different level than men,
right.
ironically. So, like a male friend I was talking to today, actually, and he's a podcaster too, and we were just talking about the
Uh-huh.
podcast in general. And I was just mentioning how, like, I know some people who are my friends, air quotes, but they necessarily support my podcast and all that stuff, and I would have to
Nope.
say no. So I was mentioning that to him, and he was just like, and I said, I wonder who are the biggest haters, men
Women.
or women.
Women.
And well, see, that's what I
Me
think
too.
personally, because just like you said, I
Men,
feel like, you
even
know
with besides business wise, men tend
hmm
to stick together. Period.
right, I just don't see men like hanging. Like I said, any man that listens when I do publish it, hey, definitely you can inbox me, whatever, if you like, well, if you got a story that, but I don't see men like hanging and looking at, oh, well, this dude got on
Right.
this pair of pants and I really like it. But women, I feel like, and I'm not saying all of them. They got some women that could care less. Like me personally, I don't check other women. I don't sit there and notice, oh, well, she got on, but I could care less. Okay, but I've on the flip side, I've had experiences with other women where they too busy noticing, well, what you got on, if your hair
Right.
look better than them, or just,
Mm-hmm.
just something crazy, like stuff that I feel like a person that is comfortable with themselves is really not going to think about. So I just seem like
It
that's a women
is.
thing. Like they got women that will just not like you just because they don't
And
like you. They don't like
right,
how
they
you
don't
look. They
even,
don't like
and
how
then
you
they don't
carry
even
yourself.
know you. Like women's
Right. They don't
right,
have they don't know nothing about you but what they see. And there's enough for them to
but
dislike you.
get to open the book and read the book before you dislike a person, especially us
Right. And I think
females.
that's something that women do more than anybody. Like, well, the negative ones, they'll just find a reason to dislike you, and I just think it's really sad. And I think that's why on the flip side, good people, they
Right.
have their guard up
Mm-hmm.
because it's like, okay, I don't know what category you fall into. Are you like the
Right.
hater type of person? Are you the person where you're gonna check everything I'm doing, or you gonna judge stuff, like you're not sure what category they fall
You
into.
just don't know.
So just rounding out, like I know exactly. So I know like your newest platform you mentioned, is the hashtag give a sister a hug, and you're also diving out into the YouTube channel. So, what is your main focus? Like, what do you hope people can take away from it? Like, women, I know you were saying like you want it to be like a support network,
Yes.
especially, now, unfortunately, a lot of people they are quarantining as we should always be doing. I mean, obviously, it's slightly confusing how it's like, okay, the stay at home order is lifted, but you're supposed to still
Right.
technically
It's
stay
a
at
little
home. So it's
confusing.
just like, yeah, it's extremely confusing. But in general, all of us are spending more time inside. And as you mentioned, so many different levels to that.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, a lot of people don't realize, but domestic violence numbers are actually spiking because imagine, I have peace in my household, but imagine, the woman
What
that's
the
in the household with an
yes.
abuser who's normally at work, but
Right.
she's
And
stuck with this
she's
man. Or on the
normally
flip
at
side,
work or going out with the kids, and
right, now
she
she's
gotta
stuck
be
with him.
inside with this fool. Like That's correct.
Right. On the flip side, let's say, for example, a single woman who, and not everybody's happy being single. Let's say it's a single woman who deals with loneliness, or the next woman who she may
Right.
deal with depression
Anxiety.
or anxiety, and
Mm-hmm.
she's stuck in her home. So what is the main thing that you would like? Let's say it's one of those women. What would you like them to take away from? Or let's say it's another one. I'll throw another woman out there. One who she really does have a good network of friends. But this quarantining is affecting a lot
It
of people
is.
mentally. So let's say it's the other woman who she really does have a good network of friends, and she was accustomed to seeing those friends all the time, and she may be having a hard time because sometimes just texting your friend or talking to them is not enough now, because it's like you really can't. We can't
Right.
do what we normally do. So, what would you want? Let's say one of those women, they go to your YouTube channel, or they go to your Instagram page, or they pick up one of your books, with your movement on give a sister a hug, or just being, trying to put out that support. What would you want one of those women to take away, from your message of,
Uh-huh.
giving a sister a hug and being supportive? What would you want them to take away from
I
your
want them,
platform?
I would like them to take away that you can get through this. You can make
Mm-hmm.
it. Like it's support out there. It's somebody else. It's another strong sister that you can lean on. Like I want them to know no matter
Mm.
we in here, we inside, it's just temporary, but we inside, and we have to, the takeaway is that you're not alone. We're gonna get through this, and it's another sister out there that's thinking about you, because everybody don't
Mm.
have that strong person. So I want this to be a thing of just knowing that you're not alone. Like it's somebody out there that care about you, that love you, because everybody don't have the love. So I want it to
They
be
don't.
like that love that you get from another sister that you don't even know. So just to pick
Mm-hmm.
up, we may be having a conversation, and I always try to make the end of it have somebody that's in the group on that particular night to give something positive. Like let them know that we here, and we not for we
Right.
thinking about you, and it's love. We love you too. You're not in this alone. Just to let them know they're not alone, because we all inside. Like we all in.
In a no
Right,
judgment
you
free
can be
zone, because I
you.
think that's another thing that people
Mm-hmm.
need. Right. Because, like, for example, me and you were supposed to have recorded this a long time ago, but one time I messaged you, I was like, my
Right.
anxiety is through the roof. I'm just like, I can't do it. Like, I literally could not mentally
Mm-hmm.
record anything. Like, I just was like, I mean, I was transparent. Like, my anxiety is extremely bad. And it had gotten, like, when I say it got really, really
Wow.
bad when this whole quarantine had first started, like, I would stay awake till like 4 in the morning. I was afraid to go to sleep. Because just like you, I have
Mm-hmm.
asthma too. But the only difference is my asthma, strangely, did not start until I was an adult. So once everything came out, I was like, okay, you need to stay inside. This virus
Right,
attacks
and
your
that's how I
respiratory
was. I was
system.
scared too. You know.
It scared me to death, and I literally was afraid to go to sleep because I was already having issues with my
Right.
breathing before this virus came out. I had just got put on my second inhaler and meds, and I was just like, what? And they was like, oh, it attacks the respiratory system. I'm like,
And the
it
who?
attacks what? I was just like, yeah, I was like, oh, I
And you
already
know what?
can't breathe.
And
So
you know
I
what's
was
the funny?
afraid to go to sleep because I kept thinking I was going to wake up. I just was so scared to go to sleep because I kept thinking, oh my God, I have it. Because I had been in New Orleans. I live outside New Orleans, but I had been in New Orleans
Me
during Mardi
too.
Gras. So I was like, oh my God, I caught it. I'm like, I exposed myself. Then they were like, it takes a few weeks before you have the symptoms. You couldn't have told me I didn't have it. I just was like, my
It was,
mind was
but
so
you know
jacked
what
up.
was
Then I was
what was
worried
so
about
funny
my
about
parents.
that was when all this started in March. I had just had an asthma attack. So I was like, wait a
Mm,
minute, what? I was freaking out too, because when they said it affect
right.
asthma people, I was like, oh my God. What?
It's the scariest thing in the
And then I
world to hear
started
that.
thinking
Because
about,
as
in
you
my
know, when
head, I
you,
started thinking about, because I take care of my mom. So I'm like, dang, if I get
mm-hmm,
this virus, I'm going to pass this on to my mama. What's going to happen to my mama? And my mama
right.
already have this
Mm-hmm.
cellulitis condition that it hits her immune system, and it'll get through her bloodstream and kill her. Like, girl, all kind of things start
Right.
rushing through my head. But you know what? I had to calm myself down because I was like, if I'm going
Right.
crazy, I can't think straight. You know, like if I'm freaking out, because
Right.
I actually had maybe about 3 weeks ago, I had a panic attack. I'm like, I just started crying, and
Mm-hmm.
I suffer with panic attacks. And normally it's like when I'm in strange
Right.
places, but I literally was in my bed crying and sweating, and I'm like, what is going on? So,
Right, because I mean, this thing has really messed with people's anxiety.
yes.
I mean, I had moments where, like, I was messaging one of my friends. I was just like, my anxiety is bad. I said, I feel like anything with the drop of a dime is going to drive me into
Mm-hmm.
tears. Like, I just felt it, felt extra emotional. Then, as I mentioned in previous episodes, my anxiety was already bad. And then I was just stressed out about my parents because they're elderly. And then, boom, a week later, they both had the virus. And I'm just like, I can't
Right.
even be
Yup. You
near
can't
them
be there to take
because
care of
I'm
them.
just like,
Mm-hmm.
right. Because I'm like, I can't catch it because I'm like, I'm a single mother. And then I already have asthma. So it was
And then
just
you start
so
hearing
many
people
things
on a
happening mentally.
ventilator machine, and I'm like, oh, are you serious?
Yes.
Yes.
Scariest thing in the world, because like I said, when you have asthma, your lungs are already
They
hell
locked down on.
no. Yes, so hearing
And
ventilators, and I was like, oh no, I was like, I can't. I'm like, I
but
can't be
I
around
thought about it
nobody.
because I stopped breathing on my mama twice. So I stopped breathing on my
Mm-hmm.
mama twice, and I'm like, oh my word, like this. It was gone. Everything was gone in my head, but I try
Right,
to I try to compose myself because I try not to let my craziness, because I could get crazy, especially when I start thinking about I could get sick, I'll have asthma, I could get sick, and it could go crazy till it'll scare my mama. And then she'd be like, well, what's gonna happen to me? And
mm,
you gotta kind of get that under control. But it's not easy for everyone.
right.
That just
It's
recently I
not.
did a podcast show on PTSD. And we all
Mm-hmm,
at
mm-hmm.
this, and I didn't know it was a lot of things that I learned. So I was like, well, I'm gonna educate myself, so I'll educate everybody else. And during the natural disasters, we experience PTSD. That's anxiety, that's dying
Right,
anxiety. You could be delirious, you can do everything, you can have all this. And I was like, damn, we all may be experiencing PTSD, even down to kids,
oh yeah,
wetting in their beds and
definitely.
stuff, just reliving that whole disaster. So we all, like, it was just like, it's crazy. This have really took us to a whole new level. But
It has, and that's why back to
mm-hmm.
just your whole platform, that's why it is important to have a base where you can talk to
And a free
people,
zone,
and
like,
I'm talking
right.
true friendship, right? It's no judgment. You should be able to
Right.
go into a
Just I'm
zone and say,
feeling.
hey, I'm having anxiety, or hey, I can't sleep, or just whatever it is, be able to have that
Right. And
virtual hug,
just to
that
have
hug of
somebody to
support, that
say,
mental hug.
I'm there. Just that place
Right,
is, you tell us how we feel. We gonna deal with it. We gonna laugh about it, and guess what? We all gonna be supportive of what's going on. You know, and that's basically
right,
what it is. Until we able to get together, really, to that point where we may have to still use our masks, but it's just temporary. So we gonna get through all this, but
right,
that's just the whole thing of hashtag Give a Sister Hug, to let them know that you're not alone in this. We here together, and we gonna get through this together. And it's still love. Like, just have that
right.
strong sister, and we need that. We have to take care of our strong sister, because just because she's strong, guess what? She's still having her moments. She's
Right,
still having her moments.
exactly.
Just like Adrena, she calls me, and she'll just pick up the phone. Hey girl, what you doing? And I'm like, girl, look,
Mhm.
having a crazy moment, because she know
Mhm.
I'm that person that I try to be there for everybody, but when I'm having my moments, I shut everybody out, because I want to deal with, I
Right.
want to deal with it. And like she tell me all the time, it's okay. you could have that moment. Like, it's okay for you to express it. You don't have to always bottle it in, because sometimes I bottle my situation up and I'm in my room and just having that moment to myself, because for me, I like to be alone, because I want to figure this out in my head. Like, I pray, I meditate a lot at night. I gotta go to bed. I might be laying in the bed just listening to music. Music is my outlet. I love to listen to music. So music is the way that I deal with things. I might go in my room and my mom be like, "You're acting funny." No, it's just sometimes I have stuff on my mind to where I need to deal with it and meditate and let it go. I pray. That's my main thing. Like, I'm like, God, I don't know what's going on, and I don't know, but I need some help right now. Like, that's where I'm at. Like, I have my moments. I really do. I can smile all day, but I have my days to where I have my moments, and when I have my moments, I need to be quiet. I need to feel it. But I might still have different people call me and pick up the phone and be like, "You okay? What you doing, girl?" Just to make me laugh. But
and it means something. It means more than people realize. So, what are your lasting words that you want to say before we end it, for anyone that listens? Just about what message would you like for people to take away from, especially women, that tune in. Like, what's the main message you would like them to take away?
My main thing is to never give up on yourself. That's my main thing. Never give up on yourself, because you can do more than you think. But just no matter what it is, never give up on yourself. Not at all. I mean, no matter what it is, don't give up. Don't throw the towel in, because you never know who's looking at you. And I have that thing to where sometimes I have to put myself in check, because I have little people that look at me. So I can't give up on myself, because if I give up on Erica, that means I'm giving up on that whole little domino effect of people that's behind me. So my thing is never give up on yourself, and just know that you're not alone in your situation.
Wow, that's beautiful. And you're right. I mean, that's the biggest thing, to never give up on yourself. So, give everybody that's listening, how can they contact you? Give everyone your information, your Instagram handles, if you're on Facebook, YouTube, everything. So, give out all, the ways people can reach.
Oh, well, I'm Erica. I'm on IG and Facebook at To The Max Records. That's the number 2, DAMAX Records. And I'm also on LinkedIn, Erica Roberts, and my Twitter page is To The Max Records. Everything is To The Max Records. And you can also catch me on YouTube. Hashtag Give a Sister a Hug. And just be on the lookout for Sister I Got Your Back, coming out really soon. And also you can go to Amazon and purchase The Journey by Erica Roberts, and check out my podcast, The Journey Back from Domestic Violence and The Journey of Love and Relationship. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you being
No
a part of the
problem.
show. It's been long overdue. Anybody that listens to, just like Erica mentioned, just never give up. And as I always end every show, as everyone that listens know what I'm going to say, go love yourself. That is every single person that's been on the show. I feel like everything ties back also in the self-love. If you love yourself, you know that you're worthy enough so that you will never even think giving up is even an option. So always love yourself. Always know that you're invaluable, and whatever you have in your heart that you want to achieve, all you have to do is look right in the mirror if you want to know where to start, because you have the tools to be whatever you want to be, and you can overcome anything. Just like Erica, she's a true example. So just make sure you guys love yourself. And once you love yourself, you would know giving up is never an option. Thank you so much, Erica. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me. And you can reach out anytime. I'll be glad to be a guest.